We're talking about multifamilies, and multifamilies is duplexes, triplexes, quads, 5 and larger. Right now in Central Florida, there are 836 multifamily opportunities. Let's take a look at the map. So 358 in the Tampa St. Pete market, 66 toward Plant City, 91 in Orlando, 30 in the west east side, 53 up in the north, 2 in Vero Beach, 124 down in Fort Myers. So we need to stay in an area that allows us to, real estate's geographic. So let's say that this is our area right here. And now we're down to let's look at the list. 370 properties. Now what we got to do is we got to realize that do we want to be in a flood zone? There are 103 properties in a flood zone. Now, these generally are going to be the cheapest properties in this criteria. And honestly, I am not an advocate of buying in the flood zones. We're seeing now that there's tremendous lack of interest in the flood zones. So if you look at these 90, 199, 200, 279, so the prices go up pretty dramatically, pretty quickly. I'm going to assume that we're not looking in that market. But that market exists, and if you're looking for cheap, it's likely that the cheapest houses are going to be in flood zones. So let's look at the non-flood zones. There's 257 of them. And we have to ask ourselves, what is acceptable? And in my opinion, we want to look at block homes, primarily because of the recent addition of tornadoes into our weather formula. We never had tornadoes in Florida. And now we have had a vicious, wicked storm hit Tallahassee with a tornado. And then everyone may have seen the very bad tornado that hit in Largo and lifted up that mobile home. So buying a frame property or a metal, which is a mobile home property, is significantly higher risk. So the cheapest property right now is in Zephyr Hills. The cheapest 2 properties, let's take a look at them. Aerial pictures. I don't know why they don't want to show us a single picture of the property. Well, can't see what they're offering. Let's look at the next one. This is the same kind of aerial. Well, it is attractive yard. Actually, I think that might be another lot. No, that's interesting. This one is going to cost $245,000. This is a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, and a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom. Sefner, $250,000. Oh dear, oh dear. There's always a reason why they're cheap. Oh dear. Sorry, I'm saying oh dear. All right, well, I wasn't prepared to see that. All right, 10th in Tampa. Window air conditioners. $262,000. They're 1-bedroom properties. I can't get excited about the valuation there. 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom. $269,999. 2 pictures. It's not very compelling. $275,000 in Brandon. What's up with these? Well, now this one has central heat and air and a window AC, both. Okay. 1-bedroom properties. I don't like them. USF, 3-bedroom, 3.5-bathroom condo. How do they call this multifamily? Oh no, it's not multifamily. This is income. Okay, so nothing is compelling. Here we go. $295,000. Looks like it's got recently been rehabilitated. And works out to 2 bedroom, 1 bathrooms, 1,125 and 1,100 in rent, 26,000 in rent for $295,000. $299,000, 2 bedroom, 1 bath, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. That's pretty cute porch. We're into porches over here. Investor special duplex. $1,100 and 12, so $2,350 a month for $299,000. $300,000. Oh, it's very attractive. Okay, let's look at this one. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 2,600 a month for 300 grand. Lakeland, $309,000 for 2 bedroom, 1 bath. Spring Hill, expected rent $2,700 a month. Now this is, I think, the first 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom. So for 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, $310,000. We know it's not compelling, 160 days on the market, but it is what it is. $315,000, $5,000 a month. $325,000 in Tampa for a triplex. Now this is interesting. Looks like it's in pretty good shape. Let's look at this. We have a 3 bedroom. We have a 1 bedroom, and we have an efficiency. Projecting $33,000 a year in income for $325,000. 10th Street, $333,000. Projected $28,000 in income. Gross, and not income, it's revenue. $339,000. You get $42,000 a year in revenue. 2 bedroom, 1 bath, and 1 bedroom, 1 bath for $339,000. And Tampa gets higher rents, $32,000 in rent for $340,000. $45,000 in rent for $350,000. Cash only. Cash flowing investment in St. Pete. Doesn't look too bad. 1948. You're looking at a 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom and a 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom. $350,000 in Newport Richey, Main Street. Great area. You would think you could get premium rents in downtown Newport Richey. 2 separate block homes. 2 bedroom, 1 bath, and then a studio. Projecting $25,000. So your revenue, they shouldn't call this income. Net income. Yeah, because you don't know what your taxes are going to be, and you don't know what your insurance is going to be. Sefner, $350,000. They're saying $33,000 in net income. I don't believe it. 45th Street. All right, let's as always, we must look at the pendings to see what's happening in this criteria. 55 properties are under contract in this criteria. 189, 214, 239, 255, 280. Wow, there is a lot going on in the pendings. $4 million, $3.6 million in St. Pete, 14 units. And then let's look at the solds. We've always got to look at the solds to see what's really happening in a particular criteria. 197 solds. Let's look back at, let's say, the last 30 days. Get a real good view. 27 properties have sold in the last 30 days. Polk County asking $255 and sold for $100,000. Wow. Wow. Zephyr Hills asking $245, sold for $219, 6 days. $250 sold for $235 in 35 days. $279 sold for $275, 125 days. $295 sold for full price in 0 days. You know, for me, the days on market really tells you the 3 pictures. This must be for information purposes. The buyer and the seller hooked up prior to it being marketed. You got to wonder if that's in the best interests of the seller. You don't have an opportunity for multiple offers when you sell it with 0 days on the market. 320,000 sold for 305 in 0 days. Clearwater, $299, sold for over the asking price in 12 days. Yeah, the best way to do this is to get into a Zoom call with me and run through the inventories, run through the suggested income. There's a $57,000 for 2 units in St. Pete, $405,000 sold for $365,000. Why is this so attractive? Projected rent $57,000. Oh, because they're 3 bedrooms, so they don't put down the expected rent here. 10 cap rate, high yield, likely won't last 130 days. All right, so how far? We're 13 minutes into this, so I assume you're not staying on this because of lack of interest, so I'm not going to worry about going over on the time. So let's say we wanted something that was special. Let's say you wanted something with a garage. There's only 7 properties with garages. Is that right? $450,000 is the cheapest one. That's interesting because I have one for sale that is, let's see this, maybe those are 2-car garages. Let's change it to 1-car garages. 9 of them. Yep, mine's on here. So let's run through these. These are going to be, well, that's a carport. I don't see how that's a garage. It's $374,000, call it $375. Lakeland, $399. And this one, this is my listing. This is likely you reached out about this property because it has all these multifamily inquiries I'm getting. Actually, I also have the one on Dania, the cheapest one, the 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 4 total. Zillow has this as 8 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms. I ponder the rent on here. We've got it projected at $2,000, but it might be a little bit weaker right now. Maybe it's $1,800. But to get a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1-car garage rental, I've got annual income at $30,000, but this is projecting $4,000 a month. So I actually have taken out taxes and insurance on this one. Hey, I'm Randy Jenkins. Let me invite you to follow me on my real estate feed. This is my company, Florida Real Estate Partners, and we put out real estate content, videos, education. If you follow my feed, as I go by on your feed, you'll have the opportunity to remember me when you are ready to talk to a realtor. Bottom line is that Gary Keller says we're supposed to call and email and text and visit and call and email and text and visit. We're supposed to call you 8 times in the first 8 days. We're supposed to email you and text you and phone you and visit you 33 times a year, and it's just exhausting. And frankly, you don't want to talk to a realtor until you're ready. So I invite you to call me when you're ready. Randy Jenkins, appreciate the opportunity. Have a great day.